Hey there, how y'all doing today? This is data on trail from what will be my last day of hiking and hopefully my first marathon day ever. I've got about 22 to 26 miles, I'm not sure exactly what, but close enough, longer than I've ever hiked to my campground. And it's just now 6 or so, and Greg in Wild and I are already on trail. He's back there behind me somewhere, typing out a message to his loved ones. And sun is just coming up, and we've already put a mile or so under it. So hope your day's getting off to as good a start as mine is. And I'll show you a little bit of this boardwalk I'm on here next. So yeah, there's sun up on the prairie right there. We camped at the Montrose segment site last night that is at the north end of the Brooklyn Wildlife Preserve area. Probably, in terms of camping spaces, my favorite DCA yet, just because it had a lot of room. Had some bugs. Had a whippoorwill that would not shut the heck up all night last night, so that was a little bit of a different challenge. And I'm getting to hike as the sun comes up, and it's nice and cool. It's probably 45 degrees or so. But I have a long way to go today, and it's going to be up into the 70s later today. So I'm going to have to be able to move slow later today, so we're getting an early start on it. And I decided to stay only in the DCAs except for the one hotel night, and to have the last day be a marathon, all as kind of a practice and a test for myself. But also, as I said on one of the earlier videos, I packed out 7 days of food, and I have yet to have to resupply. So my food planning, my meal planning for the 7 days really did work pretty well. I haven't had to buy food, and I've got just enough to get through today if I make it to Montrose in time for lunch at a restaurant there. Isn't that lovely in the morning right there? This trail is pretty clear of blowdowns if you have to work to cross over them, but if you can walk under them, a close-up of a burrow right there, you walk right under. Or if you can step over them easily like this one. It seems like I don't know if they leave them in place on purpose or if they just leave them for a while, but from a trail maintenance standpoint, I know they haven't had a hurricane come through here like Helene, but they've done a very nice job of clearing the pathway itself. The treadway is really in good shape. Last year, I think they got something like 30 or 35 through hikers total on the season. And I expect, since they're on the list of 11 National Scenic Trails now, that number's probably going to double every year. So we'll see. I'll keep a check. I think I'm going to get a little bit active in being supportive of the Ice Age Trail, just because it is, as a Midwesterner, it's a really nice trail. It's also conveniently located closer to my house than any of the others. You will see a lot of these signs because a lot of the Ice Age Trail still runs through easements on private landowners' property, so they do a reasonably good job of marking where they're on a private easement and where you're on public land. And in particular, because some people stealth camp a lot on this trail. I haven't yet, but I'll probably have to, I've been told, at some point. If I was ever gonna, or whenever I have to stealth camp, I will want to make sure that I'm on public land, because you definitely don't want to stealth camp on private land, unless like your life depends on it. Because you need to respect private landholders, or I need to respect private landowners' rights, or it'll be harder for the Ice Age Trail to get other easements in the future. Again, I come up on another Leopold bench. This one's a little bit more mature, but it's a nice seating position. Here's the view they have thoughtfully positioned it to try to capture. It is the south end of the Brooklyn Wildlife Area. That's about, I don't know, 2.8 or 3 miles or something from where we started the day, and it's 7:29. So made pretty good time so far this morning. Although, okay, folks. This is Al's Dayton Place on a Sunday morning. We can't tell if they're open yet or not, but there's supposed to be a little park by it, and there are a couple of vehicles here. Oh, there's the park over there. Supposedly there is a water pump. I see a basketball goal and a frisbee golf set up. Okay, I don't usually film the restrooms along the trail very often, but it's just a pit toilet in this park. But it's got a little wash stand that they put water in. It's got a pump. So it's not like you would draw water to drink out of it, but it does have soap, paper towels, urinal, commode, toilet paper. It's got hand sanitizer over here on the wall and a trash can. And it has a lock. It's a little funny electronic thing that you can push to lock from the inside, but from the outside when I came up it wasn't locked. And it's pretty good sized. It's right next to a pavilion, and with a couple of picnic tables, and there's one over there with even more. Little playground, and off there in the distance just a little bit you can see there's a hand pumped water source, and even a little lending library. So I'm gonna take a pack off, shoes off break here, and Greg and the Wall and I are gonna sit and have a snack and try. Now, to get here we rounded the corner by Al's Dayton Place, and we walked down the little side yard path next to that unmowed area, but probably in this gentleman's yard. So thank you, sir. Hope that didn't bother you too much. The actual road is a little further south on D, but it just seemed like unnecessary to walk that. Actually, now I'm here, it looks like we probably could have cut through Al's Dayton Place's backyard and walked over here also. So I'm hiking out of Exeter Park, leaving Greg in Wild back at that pavilion I just focused on. I went over to that little hand water pump. I pumped it 5 or 6 times, and out came just really nice, chilly, cold, deep well water. So I just screwed up so bad. I mean, it's not a hike ending kind of screw up, but I failed to check my mapping software far out when I left that little park back there, and I went south instead of going west on this road I'm on now, and I walked on that other road for 0.8 of a mile before I realized it, and then I had to turn around and walk back because it doesn't matter which connecting route you take, except there wasn't any good route from the way I was going back over to where I had to go. So I had to turn around and hike the 0.8 of a mile back to that little park area. But again, just a reminder that honestly, without Far Out, I don't think it'd be possible to hike this trail. So always check at every intersection. If you're hiking the Ice Age Trail, make sure that you're going the right way. After 7.7 miles and plus a 1 mile navigation error on my part, I am now back on the Badger State Rail to Trail at a place called Ross Point. So Greg and Wild's about 5 minutes behind me now because I'm trying to keep my pace up because I got further to go today. He's only got about another 2 or 3 miles, and then he's going to go over to New Glarus and stay in a hotel. That was one of the plans I considered, but I intentionally didn't do that in order to have this marathon day. I figure if I can do 26 miles on this nice flat ground, which is mostly now going to be this rail to trail path, a lot of it, I know if I can't do a marathon on the really easy hiking conditions on this path, then I have to ratchet down my expectations for the high end of my mileage for the AT. And already I would say if I can do a marathon on this trail in these conditions, that probably means my upper limit even on the AT is probably the 18 to 20 mile range that I was hiking last time when I fell down and busted my face. So I need to control my expectations about how far I can hike on any one day, especially on a difficult trail like the Appalachian Trail. So when you get to this point, the Badger State Trail is closed, and on Far Out, it's not real clear. It's only been kind of annotated in the comments. So it's important on Far Out, if you're hiking the IAT, to read the comments. This is Tunnel Road North. And when you get here, there is a detour sign for the bicyclists who would be on this, but it also applies to the hikers because there's some kind of a tunnel up ahead here which is closed to hikers and everybody else. So, and they're clear about it. It's been closed evidently for a couple of years. So this adds a road walk to the hike along this thing called Tunnel Road. And really, I just have to stay on Tunnel Road for I don't know, it's a couple of miles, it's 2 or 3 miles, but Tunnel Road is just a little road winding through the country, except there's not much of a shoulder, as you can see. There's also, though, not much traffic, and Tunnel Road winds all the way around where the busted tunnel is, and then rejoins the Ice Age Trail in about 3 miles. But it doesn't show that on Far Out. On Far Out, it shows you staying on the trail, which you can't do. So, really, somebody at Far Out or the IAT needs to edit the entry for this section, because that portion of Badger State Trail runs from here on Tunnel Road down close to Monticello. That's not a part of the trail anymore. And it may not be for a long time because the folks responsible at DNR or whoever for fixing that tunnel haven't gotten to it for 3 years. So it's a little disappointing, really, that Far Out doesn't show this corrected, because this is another road walk. It adds about 0.45 miles, somebody says, to the total hike, which seems about right. So it's not terrible, and it's a pretty country road, but again, important to use Far Out, essential actually to use Far Out hiking this trail, and to read all of the comments. Nice run into some fella out in the country, or lady, I don't know whose choice it was, but whose aesthetic taste in landscaping runs similar to mine. Planted a whole grouping of red buds here. Such nice pretty trees in the spring, especially when you kind of group them together. They flower for a long time, and pretty nice. I don't think that prairie is being restored or anything, but It's a nice open field, and there's some flowering stuff in it actually that suggests this parts of it might be somebody's trying to restore it. I don't know. But folks on the opposite side of the road certainly have themselves a lovely view. Nice big lots, nice pastoral setting. And off in the distance you can probably see there's a rather large farm operation. Red barns and silos and all that. A little bit postcard-like along here. So I'm on the reroute on what's called Tunnel Road, and I'm about 10 miles into the day. I have plenty of water, but if I didn't, I've come across a water source I want to document because there's no really onerous operations around here. And it would take a little bit of an effort to get down to, but it looks like just past me actually there might have been a place. And this is a pretty clear running little stream here. So that is the south end of the closure for the collapsed tunnel that causes you to take the Tunnel Road reroute. And you can see from how it looks, it's a pretty permanent closure. So the IATA and Far Out need to get together and just take this segment off of the hike. And for anybody doing long distance through hiking in this area, just you will not be able to hike the segment. So now I'm about 1.5 miles north of Monticello on the rail trail, and somebody's bothered to install a bench here. And if it were a little bit later in the day, it would even be in the shade. I would probably sit down and take a break here. So this is in memory of Robert Letman, gone too soon. Sir. Made by Ron and Jason Fritz. So thank you guys for making a bench, and especially placing it right here in the shade of this tree, which will continue to grow up over it. And you even have a little view out over this prairie. That's kind of nice. I would sit and enjoy that view, but since I'm only 1.5 miles or so out of town, I really want to get out of this heat. So now I'm only about 1 mile north of Monticello, and I have a clear running stream here. So this is the bridge over the Little Sugar River, which Far Out list has a water collection spot. And I think I see why, although I think I'm not sure how I'd get down to it, but since I don't need water, I don't have to figure that out. I'm pretty sure there are a couple of ways on the side to get down to it, but the Little Sugar River looks like it's pretty probably not a seasonal river. Probably runs all year round, and it's flowing on both sides. Again, I don't see a spot where people have carved out for getting down to it, but I'm guessing right down there somewhere you could find one. And I mean, it's healthy enough. I don't know if you can see them, but I can see little fishies down there in it. Not big, but you know, still looks like a pretty lively creek. And so I'm coming up on the first road that could get me to walk into Monticello, which is just 1 mile or so, maybe less, to the west. It's got a yellow arrow on it, and I did just realize that, you know, the IATA might just think about doing that, you know. The town's not that far that way. And if you could reroute the IAT directly through Monticello, it could become a little trail town. They may or may not have any interest in that, but since they put a sign out here which shows, you know, drinks and food, I suspect they wouldn't mind. They became the kind of a trail town like on the AT where you routed the trail right through the town. So I think I found a little Ice Age trail kiosk, and this is where a little side trail connects you to one of the streets which takes you directly into the middle of town. Oh yeah, welcome to Monticello. Food, drink, fuel, groceries. I guess they do like hikers here. They also have one of these nice tables to walk into sheltered picnic areas, restrooms, and all kind of stuff. I made it to Main Street. Even have a little gas station that's located right on the corner you can drive through. And there's a nice park where you could sit and cool off and get water. I'm going to try to respect folks' privacy, but it's a very quaint little town. So I just had lunch here at Gimpler's Supermarket, but they also have like a deli and a nice little seating area and a great air conditioning and a restroom and some really friendly people. So if you're in town and you want a good affordable lunch that's like cooked in-house and very, very healthy stuff, Gimpler's would be the place to go. I had to stop filming for a minute because somebody was taking one of those Mother's Day photos of Mom and her 3 grown daughters. It was just adorable, but it did make me kind of sad because this is my first Mother's Day without my mom. You might know if you watch my channel for a while that my mama passed away at the beginning of February, and Mother's Day was always a big thing for us just because we lived in different cities, but often for Mother's Day, either she would come see me or I'd go see her, and we'd make a big day of it like these people are and have reservations for some special Mother's Day luncheon somewhere and take pictures. And I mean, sometimes even she'd come up to Chicago and it'd just be Mom and I, and we'd go out somewhere. And today's my first Mother's Day without my mama, so that's a little bit tough. That is part of why I wanted to go ahead and do this marathon day today, though. Just think about my life and stuff, test myself to see if I can hike this far, and also kind of, you know, I think for me, sometimes I find if I really force myself to do something that's hard and it's physically challenging, and also that I can contemplate bigger questions in life at the same time, that kind of helps me think through things. So I've been doing a lot of that today. I'm coming over to the park where they have some picnic benches and covered picnic eating area kind of thing. So I finished up a nice long break in Monticello. I had lunch at the supermarket, and I went to the pavilion at the park and had another short pack off, shoes off break. Filled up my water bottles out of water that I had bought at the store, and now I'm headed back to trail. So here I am heading south out of Monticello from the same trailhead that I came off at, and it's hot out. But you can see, since it's 3 now, sun is off to the left. Shadows are coming across the trail from that side now, as compared to video from 3 or 4 hours ago where they would have been coming across to the right, because I'm still moving kind of due south by southwest a little bit, and I will be until I get to the Little Sugar River Trail, where I will make a pretty stiff turn to the left. Then the sun will be behind me, and I'm just really hoping that it is also blocked off my back of my neck by some shade trees there also. So here's a blaze and an arrow telling me to make a left. This must mean this is the junction. Here we go. Here are the other distances and trails in the area. I'm on the Badger State Trail. And now I'm about to turn to the Sugar River Trail. Sugar River State Trail. Albany is 9 miles that way. That's where I'm headed. There we go. So there's a little Sugar River, and that's flowing like a regular stream there. So I would say probably be pretty fine to draw water out of that, unless somebody comes and tells me different. Hello. That's flowing pretty steady there, looking pretty good. So now I'm entering in and walking through the Albany, Sand Prairie, and Oak Savanna State Natural Area, State Naturalization Area, or something, SNA. And I did just spot, see if I can get it on film, one great big monster of an oak tree. I think that is a bur oak from the general configuration of it. Boy, he is a beaut. Must be, I don't know, 7-8 feet in diameter at the bottom. So we are right on the outskirts of Albany, Wisconsin. So I may try to capture a little bit of that as I walk through it. But I am going through that malaise phase that I think longer distance hikers go through toward the end of a hike, even if it's only been 7 days, when on one hand I'll be glad to get back to civilization and my bed and my modern comforts, and on the other hand it's been a really nice week to be out here, not completely alone but nearly alone. And when I'm in company, I was in the company of other people who think about the beauty and importance of nature the way that I do. Now I got to go back to the world of mowing grass and paying bills. Well, gang, I'm coming up on the intersection of a crossroad that will take me over to a mobile station, and I was just going to go over there and get some drinks and stuff for this evening, and tomorrow's drive home, like some caffeinated, Starbucks things or something. But since I've decided to drive home tonight, I think I'm also going to end my hike here, and I'll come back and hike this last mile of this part of this trail on my next journey. I'm hoping I can get a ride from the gas station down to the campground. That'll get me there at 7 instead of 8. Make the drive home a little bit smoother. If I can't, then I have to road walk it, and I'll count those miles. But I'm only a mile short of where I was going to stop anyway. So this mobile station I was going to go to is on a road that runs parallel to the Ice Age Trail. There's a busy intersection right here, but that's all right. I got to cross it. People looked out for me. This is the Sugar River Trail for all of those purposes. People slowed down for me nicely there. So now I'm just going to cross my fingers at the mobile station and hope I can find somebody to give me a lift here, or after I exit there, then I'm going to stick my thumb in the air, heading down a couple of miles to the campground. So I did in fact find a ride at the gas station from the first guy I talked to, a nice local young man, down to the campground, and I did go ahead and drive home that night. This is a photograph that I took at the Ice Age Alliance headquarters up in Cross Plains. I went right about a marathon on this day, and I finished up about 7 o'clock like I thought I would, based on getting that ride. And this is the last day that I was on trail. I did hike about 100 miles in 7 days. My attempt to cold soak my dinners and breakfast worked really well. I also worked really well to have packed out 7 days of food. So my experiment in changing a bunch of things about my kit was a success, and now I think I'm going to sit around my house here for a couple of days and figure out where I'm going to hike next, and modify my kit again a little bit more. So with that, this is Data saying happy trails to each of you.